used to. But first, we'll take a look at our forecast for today.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our high for today here in Manhattan. If you notice, we'll have the sun start shining a little bit later, which is going to bring our temperatures up. We're going to break into those 50s, and hopefully things are going to start getting a little warmer here in the Little Apple.
This is KKSU LD, covering Manhattan, Riley County, and the Flint Hills, broadcasting in high definition from Kansas State University. You're watching Channel 8 News.
Welcome back to Channel 8 News. I'm Eden Brockman. Coming up, we'll see how mental health services at Kansas State benefited from the All In for K-State drive. And we'll hear from K-State Athletic Director Gene Taylor about his newest hire. But first, about that new employee, K-State is entering a new era in men's basketball with the hiring of head coach Jerome Tang. Sports reporter Claiborne Schmidt has more.
K-State welcomed its newest coach, Jerome Tang, to the men's basketball program last Thursday at the Shamrock Zone. Tang agreed to a 6-year contract approved by the Board of Directors and President Richard Linton. Tang will be paid $2.1 million in his first year and will receive a $100,000 increase each year remaining of the contract.
The reason why I'm here is because our values align. The things that are important to this community are important to me.
Jerome is everything we could hope for in the next great leader of our men's basketball program. He's a relationship builder, a motivator, a tenacious recruiter, and a defensive genius. But most importantly, he is a man of high character who puts family and community first.
Coming up later in sports, we'll hear from some current and former players about the new head coach. Back to you at the desk, Eden.
Thanks, Claiborne. Earlier this month, Kansas State University, along with several other schools in the area, had spring break, and many students traveled outside of Manhattan to enjoy their holiday. The recent increase in travel and K-State lifting its mask mandate right before spring break brings concerns about a near spike in COVID-19 cases in the Manhattan and surrounding Riley County area. Last year, K-State canceled spring break to keep cases low. However, even with the traveling, there has not been an increase in COVID cases. There's another virus making its way across the United States, and this time it's targeting our feathered friends. Channel 8 reporter Kate Kennedy has more.
Recently, multiple counties in Kansas have reported positive cases of avian flu, more commonly known as the bird flu. The virus was detected in backyard flocks in Franklin, Sedgwick, Dickinson, and Mitchell counties.
So I think you have to be concerned, particularly if you own poultry. We know that it's out there in the environment. We know that we have it in the state of Kansas. The birds have migrated through, but the source of the virus is still there.
The Kansas Department of Agriculture is currently monitoring the outbreak and provides tips for how you can help keep Kansas livestock safe from infection.
One of the big things that we've been talking about is just increase that biosecurity. Be cognizant of what you're carrying home back to your poultry.
For more information, check out the KDA's website at the link below. Starting Monday, the City of Manhattan will begin its annual spring cleanup, where city workers will pick up yard waste for free, so residents don't have to haul it themselves. Grass clippings and leaves need to be placed in waste paper bags, while tree branches should be stacked in a loose pile. Scrap lumber, concrete, and other irregular waste will not be picked up. The city is asking residents to have items on the curb by 7 a.m. on your scheduled day.
It's just an opportunity for residents to clean up their yard. There's definitely residents that don't have the access or the ability to haul tree branches or grass clippings to the Riley County Transfer Station, even though it's free to them.
I think it's very helpful to homeowners because, otherwise we have to truck it out there ourselves, and if you don't have a truck, it makes it kind of difficult.
Recently, the Riley County Jail has seen an increase in the number of inmates, and the average daily population is at an all-time high. The current population is 106 inmates, a little over a 30% increase from this time last year. This seemingly sudden influx is not because the police are arresting more citizens, but more about the repercussions from the COVID-19 pandemic.
Other factors were the prison system for the state. They weren't taking inmates at a certain time because of the pandemic. So that slowed things down in getting certain inmates out of the county jails.
Not only do we have the highest amount of inmates that we've had in probably 10 years, but we also have the lowest amount of corrections officers that we've probably had in the same amount of time. At the core of it, it's keeping the inmates safe, and that's what the duty of our corrections officers are. And so we want to make sure that the inmates in our care are safe and taken care of.
The last time numbers were this high was back in 2012. The Riley County Police Department and everyone on staff at the Riley County Jail are working to keep conditions safe for the inmates as inmate numbers rise and staffing numbers fall. Time for our first break, but when we come back, we will take a look at how K-State raised over $500,000 for student mental health. Plus, we will sit down with Athletic Director Gene Taylor as he reflects on hiring the 25th men's basketball coach in program history. That's next.
It's like a purple front has kind of moved into the stadium. Beautiful day and music's loud. The fans are on their feet.
Wilnet crushes it to left, and K-State leads 8-1. The 1-2, a swing and a miss. Reaps into center, long run for Mertz. He can't get there. K-State has added 5 here this 6th inning. K-State will run the option. Here's Skylar Thompson. He walks it in. Walks it in. Antonio Gordon. Here's the shot and he's got it. And it is Kansas State, courtesy of Brent Carlson. Side of the box, crossing, wide open, the shot. Thompson right away. That ball is gone. She gets the ball back, goes up strong, scores, and one. He'll take it down on Jacobson. Off to McGurl, layup, yes. Fielded at the 48. Here's Brooks to the 25-20. He's going to score. Wildcat touchdown. He crunches it.
Due to the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, many people reported higher levels of mental health issues, and those at K-State are no different. Channel 8 reporter Kate Kennedy has more.
There are many aspects of life at Kansas State University that Wildcats are always talking about, but there is one thing that some people struggle to talk about, and that is mental health. And K-Staters are not immune to these growing mental health concerns that are occurring in colleges all across America.
26% of our students had considered suicide in the past 12 months, and that 16% had actually made a plan to do so.
Personally, I didn't realize I had an anxiety disorder until I came to college. I was comfortable in high school, and freshman year I realized, whoa, there's a problem here.
However, faculty, students, and donors are working hard to provide support for students in need. Inside the Kansas State University Foundation building, a 24-hour-long event called All In for K-State took place last week to raise money for an issue on campus. This year's focus is mental health.
We think just by talking about it alone with our large megaphone is a value add for the destigmatization and the raising awareness for this.
The money raised during the event will be distributed all across campus. One of the prospective programs is the Green Bandana Project.
It is a suicide awareness and prevention campaign that helps reduce the stigma by giving a visible sign, which is a green bandana, that shows that they are mentally health aware and that they take mental health seriously.
Other funds will be distributed to Lafayette Health Center.
We offer individual therapy, group therapy, workshops, crisis care, whatever is needed.
I actually go to CAPS quite a bit. I think it was just last semester, I used my counseling sessions, and that went really well.
All In for K-State was able to raise over $600,000 with donations coming in from all 50 states and 2 other countries. In Manhattan, I'm Kate Kennedy for Channel 8 News.
For more information on how to utilize K-State's mental health services, check out the link below. The process of choosing a new basketball coach is a long and complicated one that K-State Athletic Director Gene Taylor had to navigate. He sat down with Channel 8 News reporter Lena Saturn and discussed why he thinks the hire is a perfect fit.
Thank you so
much again for joining us today. There's lots to talk about right now surrounding K-State sports, and I think that's really exciting. So to start, I just wanted to ask, what do you think that Coach Tang is going to be bringing to our K-State men's basketball team?
Well, I think he's going to bring a lot of energy for one thing, a lot of passion. Certainly his familiarity with the Big 12 and recruiting the Big 12 is going to be a big positive for us. And he brings experience of learning how to build a program. Now, again, our program's not broken, but certainly it needs to get, more consistently successful. And I think he's learned how to do that from his time at Baylor.
Tell me a little bit about the process in finding a head coach. What goes into that?
Well, it kind of, just starts by identifying candidates. And we started that, after Coach Weber announced his retirement. And, we had a list that we put together, and then our search firm put a list together. And then we kind of prioritized, our top 5 or 6 that we really wanted to at least have a conversation with. And Coach Tang was identified early in the process, and he was one of the first ones we spoke with. But we continued to talk with other candidates. But after we visited with him, he kind of set the bar, and we were able to say, okay, let's measure anybody else we talked to up against him. And he just continued to get stronger as we talked to more and more people.
What stuck out to you about those conversations?
I think just the kind of person he is. He was just so comfortable immediately. He's one of those kind of guys you like immediately. As I mentioned to you, his passion and his energy. He had tremendous humor, very, very, humble, very caring guy. You just knew he would care about the student athletes. And so a lot of those things we were looking for and were kind of on our list. And then certainly something that we found in him with no question at all.
And then going off of that, how do you think Tang's personality is going to mesh with the team and the school, and then even further, the Manhattan community?
I think it's a great fit. And that's one of the things we talked about during the process, is somebody that could make sure they would fit not only at K-State with our athletes, but like you said, in the community, because it's a very visible position. And, Bruce was great with the community, great with our on campus and within the department. I think he brings all those qualities as well. I think he's going to, push our athletes to get better, and that's a good thing. Then certainly, he brings a standard of success that he's achieved with the Baylor program that I think our athletes are going to buy into.
Perfect. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Good to meet you.
Coming up, we'll take a look at what the weather will bring this weekend. Plus, we'll take you to a local lake where the K-State crew team is teaching people how to row.
So within industrial engineering, you can actually start your master's degree a year early and start taking those classes your senior year. And then after you go through those upper level courses, you only really have a year left, and you would come out with your bachelor's and master's degree, which is something I have been considering just because, it's one extra year, and I do love K-State, so it's like, win-win. But that's a perk with being an industrial engineer. You're able to get your master's degree in just one extra year.
The dribble, and it is showtime! He'll take it down on Jacobson. Off to McGurl, layup, yes! Fielded at the 48. Here's Brooks to the 25-20. He's going to score! Wildcat touchdown! He crushes it!
Crew at K-State is offering free lessons to those interested in rowing. Channel 8 reporter Landon Reinhart has more.
You might have seen rowing machines at the gym, but not everyone actually gets to go out on the water, which you can do with Crew at K-State.
Anyone who's interested in crew
anyone who's interested in rowing has a chance to come down and learn the basics and get in the water today.
Crew at K-State is hosting Learn to Row events every Monday throughout April, designed to get people of all rowing experiences out on the water.
So today is just kind of a day to get people exposed so that I always say we want people to choose not to row than to just never have any idea it exists.
After a quick discussion, attendees help get the boat down on the water, go through training exercises with help from team members,
And your hand position looks really good.
and are pushed out on Tuttle Creek Lake.
When you get a group of people who can all move well together and move in time, and they're practicing towards and training towards a specific competition, it creates a really strong connection between everyone in the boat.
Part of the purpose of the free event is to recruit members for the crew team, who competes against other colleges throughout the year.
We try to do these periodically so that we can introduce more people and kind of make our team more known on campus.
For team president Mason Phillips, rowing helps him knock two things off his to-do list at one time.
And I wanted to meet friends, and I needed a group to work out with. And rowing is a sport where you get a workout and you can meet people because it's a team. So it was, why not?
Yeah, it was a good time. Everyone was really friendly, and I learned something. And yeah, I've never got the opportunity to do this before, so it's cool that I was actually able to, and for free. So.
At Tuttle Creek, Landon Reinhardt, Channel 8 News.
For more information about the crew team, reach out on their Instagram at Kansas State Crew. Some blustery weather in the last couple of days. So, when will we get that spring warm-up? Kate Kennedy has more in today's weather report.
All right, thanks, Eden. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of our national temperatures. And like you said, spring is starting to move in, but unfortunately right now it looks like it's just on our eastern coast. A little bit warmer up north and down south on that coast for us. And then if we make our way into the Midwest, we can see that temperatures are very moderate. We're getting into that springtime. However, things are a bit on the cool side, which means we're not quite there yet, but it is March, so that's how things usually go. And if we make our way over to the West Coast, it is actually really heating up over there. We have a heat wave coming through, and down in California and Arizona, it's definitely spring, even getting close to summertime over there. However, you move back up north, it's a little cooler. Moving into Kansas, you can see that we're sitting in that mid-50s to mid-60s sort of range. However, things in the Riley County and the Johnson County area are a little bit cooler. And the closer we get down to Oklahoma and Colorado, we can see that things are starting to warm up a little bit more. And then in today's forecast, we can go ahead and take a look and see that things are getting a little bit warmer. Like I said, the sun is going to come out, and then we're going to see those temperatures rise a little bit, even though it was much cooler this morning. Taking a look at our 5-day forecast, we can go ahead and see that, like I said, things are a little bit cooler today. However, our sun is going to start shining, and then by the time the weekend comes, we're going to have sunny skies and higher temperatures. Alrighty, back to you, Eden.
Sports is coming up right after the break. We will introduce you to new men's basketball coach Jerome Tang and hear how he is planning to get fans back to Bramlage Coliseum. Plus, how one current player is exploring his options in the NBA draft after a campaign where he earned all Big 12 first-team honors. We'll be right back.
What the radio station has done for me, it has allowed me to use my public speaking capabilities and provide it into a entertaining way. I would say the fact that most of the classes I've taken have not just been fluff, like they feel like they've actually prepared me for the world. If all things go well, working there might have gotten me a job.
So within industrial engineering, you can actually start your master's degree a year early and start taking those classes your senior year. And then after you go through those upper level courses, you only really have a year left and you would come out with your bachelor's and master's degree, which is something I have been considering just because, you know, it's one extra year and I do love K-State. So it's like, you know, win-win. But that's a perk with being an industrial engineer. You're able to get your master's degree in just one extra year.
State will run the option. Here's Skylar Thompson. He walks it in. Walks it in for Antonio Gordon. Here's the shot and it's got it. And it is Kansas State, courtesy of Brent Carlson. Side of the box, crossing, wide open, the shot.
Thompson right away. That ball is gone.
She gets the ball back, goes up strong, scores, and one.
K-State, I think, has made me comfortable taking a leadership position. As a computer scientist, the leadership experience and how well you communicate with others is often overlooked by most people. I'm a section leader in the K-State marching band, so it definitely made pursuing, those leadership opportunities more easily. If you demonstrate proficiency in those skills, then that really sets you apart, and I think that really has to go into why I ultimately got the internship.
We will now go to sports anchor Claiborne Schmidt to hear about the new developments within the men's basketball program. Claiborne?
Thanks, Eden. Jerome Tang was announced the new head coach of the K-State men's basketball team Monday, March 21st. And he touched on why now is the right time to make this jump and become a head coach. New head basketball coach Jerome Tang was not hesitant to share his aspirations of the K-State men's basketball team in the Big 12 championships to come.
We're not going to get up for one game a year or 2 games a year. We're going to get up for every game, and we're going to treat every opponent with the type of respect that they deserve.
Carl Gerlach, former K-State and NBA basketball player, sees bright days ahead.
I think he's got the passion. He wants to play a brand of basketball that'll be exciting to the students and exciting to the fans.
Fans bring a special aspect to the basketball game atmosphere, not only for the Bramlage Coliseum, but for the players on the court as well.
A home court advantage in this league is extremely important. The way you get fans to come is to win.
Marquise Noel, junior guard, was in awe of Tang's dedication to hard work and winning.
It was just a no-brainer. That's somebody I want to be around each and every day. That's somebody that I want to play for, that I'll go in and basically die for him.
Taking over as the 25th men's basketball coach, Tang is making history, as he will be the first black head coach for men's basketball, as well as just the 5th minority men's head coach in school history.
It's pretty cool to be a part of history and be able to leave a legacy for my kids, but I got to make sure that it's a great legacy.
Many K-State fans rest assured of the new men's head coach, Jerome Tang.
The Wildcat family can lay their head on a pillow at night and sleep well, knowing that myself and my staff are going to make decisions that they can be proud of.
Jerome Tang has not been hesitant to get to work, as he has already announced members of his coaching team and met with players' families over the past few weeks. Nigel Pack, sophomore guard for Kansas State men's basketball team, declared for the 2022 NBA draft in an Instagram post last week. Players are allowed to declare for the draft and can return to school if they are undrafted and contact the school directly after. This allows college athletes like Pack to speak to NBA scouts on how to improve before pursuing the professional level.
Workouts and training with teams and stuff won't start till early May. Got a little bit of time, but just getting ready right now for those times when the opportunity comes to be just my best. I feel like there's no loss here. Either way I can get better, either way I can learn, so I feel like this is just a great opportunity for me.
That's your look at sports this week. Back to you, Eden.
Thanks, Claiborne. We're going to take another quick break. But when we come back, we'll show you how some picked out their best costumes to take the polar plunge.
I always knew I enjoyed working with kids, and that was something I was passionate about, and I originally planned to become a teacher. I realized I was more passionate about the kids and their upbringing and their development, and I found that K-State actually offered a program that worked perfectly with my interests, and so I decided that school counseling was kind of the right path for me, just so that I could focus more on that psychology aspect and work with the kids on a more intimate level.
So within industrial engineering, you can actually start your master's degree a year early and start taking those classes your senior year. And then after you go through those upper level courses, you only really have a year left and you would come out with your bachelor's and master's degree, which is something I have been considering just because, it's one extra year and I do love K-State. So it's like, win-win. But that's a perk with being an industrial engineer. You're able to get your master's degree in just one extra year.
I went on my campus tour. They had the Baja racing teams, all the parts and everything on display, and I was like, that's super cool. My first year, we made robots, made a line following robot, assembled it and coded it. My current major is biomedical engineering. It's like a jack of all trades since you take coding from computer science and then some stuff from electrical. It's kind of just like a mix of like all the like main departments of college engineering, and this is the spot for me.
Kansas State's athletic program does not like to postpone until tomorrow what can be accomplished today.
It's going to be tied into Bramlage with some upgrades to Bramlage in terms of the Legends Room. Is now going to be 7 times bigger than it currently is, with new entrances on the east and west side. So that facility, the South End Zone project, is going to touch both Bramlage in a very positive way, and obviously finish off the stadium look and feel.
On Saturday, nearly 100 people took the polar plunge at Tuttle Creek State Park and raised $16,000 for Manhattan's Special Olympics. Isabel Terpstra, along with her coworkers in Riley County Police's dispatch department, dressed up as the band KISS for this year's polar plunge.
Kind of pit the divisions against each other just to spark as much fundraising as possible. Today, Corrections won our biggest fundraising. We were a close second in support, but yeah, so we just try and raise as much money for Special Olympics as possible and make it fun.
But this isn't Terpstra's first time going all out with her costumes for the Manhattan Polar Plunge.
So I've been plunging since 2019, where I was Mermaid Man with Barnacle Boy with my supervisor. 2020 we did virtually at home with no costumes. Last year my team did the Powerpuff Girls.
All the fun costumes aside, the money raised from the Polar Plunge helps athletes in many different ways.
We have nearly 100 athletes in the Manhattan community alone, and so that helps us fund all of those efforts to make sure that they're getting premier sporting events, they're getting the health checks they need, and they also have opportunities to get engaged in some athlete leadership.
Amanda Randazzo, another member of RCPD's dispatch team who dressed up as KISS, says when she jumped in, the water was not just fine.
It's a lot of fun to get all dressed up and do it as a group, but yeah, when you actually get in the water, it's just, yeah, you're ready to get back out and change real quick.
Yeah. It's a bit chilly, but it's for a good cause. At Tuttle Creek State Park, I'm Eden Brockman for Channel 8 News.
Alrighty, that looked really fun, Eden, but it also looked really cold. How'd that feel for you?
Oh, it was very cold, Kate. That's why I quickly ran out of the water. It was amazing that people actually were able to dive in.
Yeah, everyone was getting in there, getting wet. Looks like you only kind of dipped your feet in there, though.
Yeah, I'm not as strong as the rest of the participants.
But it was raising money for a good cause, and I think that's what matters in the end, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of some colder temperatures, we can go ahead and look at our 5-day forecast like I talked about before. We're seeing that the sun is going to start coming out, and then later in the week, things are going to get a lot warmer. We're hopefully going to hit into the 70s this weekend.
Alrighty, that's it for our show today.
This is Channel 8 News.